I would like to request Dr. Suresh Kumar, who serves as the President of ISBA and the Executive Director of PSG STEP, to deliver the opening remarks and share the insights about ISBA's remarkable journey with our audience. Thank you.
Happy morning to all. On behalf of the members of ISBA, I join Dr. Madhusudana Rao in welcoming our esteemed guests, Dr. Ullas Kolathur, Director CDFD, Dr. Srinivas Reddy, Director IICTE, Dr. Vinay, Director CCMB, Mr. Praveen Rai, Head TTI Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Managing Director BIRAC. And at this moment, I also recognize the presence of our distinguished leaders of our innovation ecosystem, Mr. H.K. Mittal, former advisor and head of NSTDB, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Mr. Ramanan Ramanathan, the founder, mission director of Atal Innovation Mission, the former CEO of Science IIT Bombay, Ms. Poini, Dr. A.S. Rao was the head Technopreneur Promotion Program of Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, Government of India, Dr. Jagdale, the past president of ISBA, Ms. Deepanvita, the past president of ISBA, and our past ISBA members, the Mahesh Kruvidi from NDBI, Ahmedabad. It's pleasure for us to have you all in this opening ceremony of ISBACON 2024. We also have a special occasion today, a special welcome to Professor Lee, President of the Asian Association of Business Incubators, and the delegates representing Asian countries with whom ISBA is proud to collaborate with ABI. We have about 18 to 20 delegates from different Asian countries who have been participating in this conference. On behalf of Team ISBA, I also extend a warm welcome to all our speakers who have accepted our invitation and traveled to Hyderabad to share their expertise and experience with us. Exactly 20 years before, the visionary leaders and thought leaders of our incubation movement decided to, was deliberating and discussing about what is incubation. Even we are lucky to have the funding support from Department of Science and Technology to have the Science and Technology Entrepreneurs Park, and after receiving the funding, the way forward is always a challenge, and it's also a learning curve for the host institution as well as the incubation centers, which is having to have a separate society or a separate organization. A lot of challenges has been faced, and these thought leaders at the time, the incubation centers were about 25-30. Even today, we say that about 900 incubators are there, but if I say 900 incubators, the next question will be among because it's a closed community, right? We have to deliberate on it, right? How many are performing and how many of them are not performing? This debate will always be there. And think of a day 25 years before, when the incubator, the population itself only about 70 or 50, and the kind of ecosystem that we have, the thought leaders came together and felt that we should have an organization where we can meet and discuss and see what is incubation and how to take forward. And as a result, the 20 years of journey is quite amazing. We have been discussing what is incubation, and then we have been discussing what is incubation for our country. And today, this association or the members are deliberating what is incubation for my incubation center. What is the incubation model for my incubation center? To that extent, this 20 years of journey has made for us to discuss, deliberate on various challenges. And we have been lucky enough to garner the support of the government agencies. An association, as I mentioned yesterday, an association will always be negotiating with the government agencies to achieve something. But here, we have been collaborating with the government agencies to come out with the schemes and programs, and either it is Nidhi initiatives or various initiatives. It has been collaboratively discussed, and the policymakers are kind enough to consider us as their family members, not considering us as an association where we'll be negotiating with them. Thanks for all the government agencies, we can see their presence in our conference, and your presence in our conference also gives us confidence that we can move forward. As in the opening remarks, it has been mentioned that about collaboration, co-incubation, things like that. Every 2-3 years, we have seen that some kind of changes has been happened in this movement. COVID also gave us an opportunity to revisit our models And we came up with, till COVID, we had only two models. We call it as virtual incubation and physical incubation. But post-COVID, we started discussing about 4-5 models. We started talking about physical incubation, virtual incubation, co-incubation, hybrid incubation, right? So all these things have evolved, and the members of the association have played a major role in achieving all these things. And today, we have about 125, 130 plus incubators representing in this conference. 200 plus people have registered, and yesterday we have seen a marvelous pre-conference workshop there. These are all not numbers. These 130, 140 incubators representing today, the statistic says that these 150 incubators are from 22 states across the country. The people who are sitting in this hall are representing 22 states across this country from 75 cities and towns, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And it is not about their incubation managers. Each incubation center, if you take that, they're supporting 20 startups on an average, right? 3,000 startups have been represented here. This is the power of this particular conference. And each of them with a mindset, you can see that few of them are very happy, but always all these incubation professionals, they are carrying something in their mind, what next? Right? Each incubation center, right, at least the startups have the challenges of first 5 years. After that, they'll have a go, no go. Either they'll grow or they will wind off and they'll move forward. But as an incubation center CEOs, always every day our question is what next? Right? Even after 20 years, we are saying what next, and always every day is a startup day for us. And why we have come together is, at least today, when we meet somebody, we'll get a opportunity for us to get some solutions or some strategies to address our challenges. With these expectations, these incubation center managers have traveled, I have not said that traveled, have invested their time, effort, and money to participate in this conference. Thank you all for your presence here, and your presence and your participation gives us confidence for ISBA to move forward. What is that we have achieved in last decades? Right. The collaborative effort, and as I mentioned, the support from the government has made us to get exemption for us, incubation centers, as well as for the incubators from the erstwhile service tax and also from the GST in the current GST. The collective effort has made the incubators to get eligible for the CSR funding, and most of the incubation centers have started working with the corporates. Provision for the societies to invest in startups as equity is also the another achievement that this collective initiatives have made. And we thank all the funding agencies, DST, BIRAC, MeitY, state and central governments, which have been supporting these initiatives. As an incubation center, as I mentioned, the strength started increasing from 25 to 30. Today we have about 160 plus incubation centers as members. Right, in 20 years, the numbers have grown. And as the numbers grow, the expectation of the members also gets growing. And we also coming up with a lot of strategies. Right? In 2007 to 11 or 12, we had only ISBACON as the yearly event, and we had only one opportunity to meet. And thanks to Dr. Jagdale, who introduced the concept called Managers Conclave, and we had the second line managers to come and meet, and we had about 4 or 5 managers conclave, starting from Amal Jodi to Dapoli to Mysore to Mandi. We went to places where the incubation centers are there in Tier 2, Tier 3, where people are not ready to travel, but we made our incubation centers to meet there. We also welcome Ms. Santoshi from THEB. Thanks for joining us, ma'am. Thank you very much. So the Managers Conclave has been introduced, and the second line managers had an opportunity to have it. And going forward, we also introduced Member Connect programs, and a lot of online programs have happened. And this ISBACON also got transferred or got transitioned to have pre-conference workshops and with more participation. But way forward, right, we are planning to have a special program called CEO Conclave, right? As an incubation center, ISBACON, we are having, it's like a celebration and we come meet, greet, but we want to have more concepts, more changes has to be brought into the policy making. We have to represent collectively. So we thought of having some quality time with only CEOs where they can address their challenges and we can come out with some strategies and we can go back to the policy makers. So we are planning to have the CEO conclaves at least twice in a year, and that will start from January 2025 onwards. Secondly, we have launched the knowledge vertical. After 25 years of journey, repeatedly I'm saying 25 years because that's where this journey has happened. Now that we have started seeing the people who have put their efforts, 20 years of efforts, 25 years of efforts in incubation industry are getting superannuated and moving out of this particular industry. Brain drain is happening, started happening in this movement, and we want to address that, and we started a vertical called Knowledge Vertical, where we'll come out with concept papers, white papers with the people who have put their expertise, and thanks to Ms. Poini, Dr. Deepanvita, Mr. Mittal, Mr. Ramanan, joining us as the advisors for ISBA, and also having the Knowledge Vertical coming out with Dr. Puran from IIT Mandi who's going to join us. So another opportunity is that we are trying to plug the brain drain that's going to happen in the incubation industry as an association. And the third thing that we are going to plan to roll out is about having 3 years before we launch the clusters. About 7-8 clusters have been identified across the country. We grouped the states, we formed them as clusters, and thanks to SIDBI for supporting 2 clusters, NCR cluster and Pune cluster has been supported by SIDBI, and a lot of initiatives have been happened. And from this year onwards, we will be expanding our experience with clusters to the other clusters. That's the third initiative that we are planning. And the fourth, the corporate engagement. We can see that corporates are coming forward with a lot of startup programs and activities, and as an association or as a movement which has connect with the thousands of startups, we want to get an engagement and we want to have a vertical to form it. So these are the way forward that we have for ISBA. And once again, on behalf of all the members of ISBA, I thank all the dignitaries for joining us and all the experts for joining us, and I welcome you all and have a wonderful deliberation for next 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suresh, for such an engaging and insightful welcome speech. I must say that ISBA's journey reminds us of the strength of our foundation, and at the same time, it inspires us for the promising growth of the startup ecosystem in coming years. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite Ms. C.A. Santoshi Reddy, VP Finance, Legal and Compliance at T-Hub, to speak a few words on this occasion and grace the audience. Over to you, ma'am. Have a great round of applause for her.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, dignitaries and all the participants here today. I was delighted to know that everybody who were at T-Hub yesterday have enjoyed their visit to T-Hub and the sessions that have happened there. I was also happened to be in part of the sessions. I was just in and out. So it was wonderful sessions that have curated by the team of ISBA and T-Hub. Thank you so much for knowledge series, and I assume that people who have visited T-Hub yesterday has got some insights into how we operate and how we are doing the things, right? So we all know that the country or the world has gone through industrialization as a first phase of evolution, right? Then the technology was the second phase of evolution. Now the third phase that we are seeing and which we are going to see in the next 10-20 years is the disruption. That is through the technology disruption, that is through the AI and Gen AI that is going to disrupt. It is not just limited to the technology, it is also goes to the manufacturing, and it is going to impact every industry that we see day in and day out. Right, so in this, what is our role as an incubator is something that I would like to throw a light on. So the AI, what it is telling us today is, so in the first phase of evolution, we have more focused on energies and efficiencies of the people. It is more of the manpower. It is not the intellectual capabilities or the mind power that we used mostly. It was the physical capabilities that we used. Right, in the second phase, technological evolution, we have used a bit of mind power, less of a physical power. But with AI, what AI is telling us is, don't use your brains or the capabilities human is having for the smallest of the things. Please focus on the best things the mankind can do and leave the rest of the things to us. That is the communication AI is sending us today. This is what we are going to see in the next 10 years or 20 years, right? This is the biggest of the disruption that mankind is going to see. The world is not going to look the same next after 10 years. Our kids will not be the same next 10 years. We are coding, we are spending a lot of time and lot of years in learning coding, right? In engineering, we will spend 3 to 4 years in learning coding. After that also we'll spend a lot of time in learning coding. But going forward, the Gen AI is going to speak the human language and we are going to write the code in the language we speak. So there won't be any necessity for the coding. So what is the role of incubators in this? So this looks very funny, but this is what we are going to see in the next 10-20 years. So the role of incubators in this is, yesterday I was present in Mrs. Lakshmi's session. She has put the role of incubators, the stakeholders of incubators in one slide very beautifully, right? One of the stakeholder is the nation. Right? So I strongly believe that incubators are the extended arm of the nation, right? Whether it is the state government or the central government, we are the nation builders. We are contributing the smallest bit that we can do for the country. And the next level of disruption that is happening by the startups, right? It is not the existing organizations or the new set of revolution that is going to come. It is the startup that is making this disruption possible, and we are playing a key role in building those startups and supporting those startups. So here the key role the ISBA as an institution is going to play or is playing is how we can leverage each other's benefits. Each of the stakeholder is bringing on board. I see each of the incubator is carrying their own core strengths, which is tremendously adding value to the startups, right? So we need to exchange our capabilities with each other so that we can work collaboratively and help or support in nation building as a team, as ISBA members. Thanks for the ISBA team for bringing this meeting in Hyderabad and bringing all the incubators together once again on the platform. Thank you so much for that. I take this as a platform to request every incubator that is present here to see how better we can collaborate with each other and support each other, so that I always keep hearing the thing of the best possibilities that collaboration can bring, right? So 1 + 1 is always gives a synergy benefit of 2x or 3x. So that is what we should be looking forward to. That should be the takeaway from the conference that is happening at Hyderabad today. So in the same lines, we are entering into an MOU with ISBA. So before you ask, one thing I strongly believe is, before you ask somebody to do something, you start doing that, right? You take the first step of doing that, then you will set the precedence for everybody to do the same. So as a part of that, today we are doing a collaboration with ISBA to share the best practices, best governance, best systems that we follow at T-Hub with all the incubators that are present across the country, and see collectively how we can support, as a team of T-Hub, how collectively we can support all the incubators in the country. Thank you, ISBA, for enabling that MOU to be possible on this platform in front of all the incubators. I request all the incubators to collaborate with us and see how we can support you. Thank you so much.
Up next, I would like to invite Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Managing Director, BIRAC, to kindly speak a few words on this occasion and grace the audience. Over to you, sir.
Dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais, incubation, members of incubation community, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so honored to be here today. In fact, I started my journey under the mentorship of ISBA when I was at IKP Knowledge Park in the mentorship of the Panvita ma'am. And I always wondered, coming from academics, actually I was confused what I was doing there. Managing startups, they are doing their own job. What I'm going to do? I was not clear that time. Mentorship from the Panvita ma'am and ISBA that it's education for the startups, that the same thing you do with, when you are guiding a PhD student. But here you are guiding the startups. And that stuck to my mind, and so far I have been in this journey, and it has been a rewarding journey. The incubation, not many people understand, is a very deep phenomena or a very deep mechanism or very deep institution which has to be nurtured, and especially our country should nurture. Countries who have grown, or they have led, or they have become prosperous, they have always focused on innovation. Talk about US. In 1900s, early part of 1900s, before that also, US was not what you see today. I mean, it was inefficient governance, corrupt government. It was still in the phase of making of a nation. I mean, it was institutions were being built. However, some of the innovators there changed the history of that country. Like, for example, Henry Ford. I mean, he dreamt that the car should be there for common people. It's not that the science of automobile engineering was not there. There were cars already, but they were bulky, they were inefficient, they were not accessible to the people. What he did was to make it accessible to people, make it efficient, and it changed the whole course of economy. How? I will tell you. When the cars were accessible to the people, they demanded roads to be built by the government. When the roads were built, there were a lot of shops and malls came across the highways. The schools were built for the children. People demanded more. So it was a democratization of the innovation that we see. When people become empowered to ask government to do good things, and that's how the whole nation changes. So not only did it create a strong economy by creating local and global jobs, but also it demanded good institutions to be built in the country. Similarly, for example, if you see, one example it comes to my mind again is Kodak camera. One gentleman, George Eastman, he imagined that why people cannot capture the moments of their life in the camera. Why they have to go to a studio where there are a lot of chemistry and bulky things and inefficient, and you come after 2-3 days and you get the picture. And he developed the camera in the kitchen of his mom, and that's the innovation that changed the whole. Again, it had a great impact on the economy. How did it do it? So it gave rise to motion pictures industry, it gave rise to advertising industry and all that. The point I'm trying to drive is these innovations create a huge impact on the prosperity of the nation. Talk about Japan. It was destroyed in Second World War. Again, within 20 years, 1970s, we see electronics industry booming there. Because, some of the innovators, say for example, in Sony, founder of Sony, he dreamt of why people should not, hear music when they're walking, where they're working. And he invented or innovated Walkman. And that's how the whole electronics industry grew, and it had a huge impact not only in the nation but across the globe. Then we talk about South Korea. I mean, a lot of innovation that led that country from 1970s was a poor country to become prosperous country. However, the same kind of innovations have not come across in many countries who have remained poor or they are in the middle income group. For example, India. We are good in many things, contract research, etc. And we know that we are suppliers of pharma and vaccines across the globe. We are supplying 40% of medicines to US alone and vaccine of the world, etc. However, these are volumes. When we talk about value, it is not that great. I mean, we rank 14th in the bioeconomy of the nations. Why is it so? If we are supplying so huge to the world, why we are not in the top 5? The reason is, again, the intellectual property, the innovation-led growth is not there so far. I mean, I'm not trying to say that we should not do all these. These are great things to do. This is also required for economy. But if you have to break the middle income group and go to the next prosperous country, I think focus should be on the innovation. And that's where the role of incubation centers are prime in the economy of any nation. If we can identify such innovations in society and we can nurture and fund them and grow them, I think it can change the fortune of our country. The government of India through Department of Biotechnology and BIRAC has come out with the policy, Bio-E3 policy, which says that, it talks about the circular economy, it talks about the bioeconomy, how to grow the bioeconomy and all. When I talk about life sciences and bioeconomy, please don't think that it's restricted to biotechnology and all. It has a huge canvas, and it actually talks about environment, climate, even electronics, AI, how it impacts human, so it's a overarch, whatever affects human being, actually it's covered under that life sciences. So Bio-E3 policy talks about creating biofoundries, creating biotech or biomanufacturing hubs. What are these biomanufacturing hubs and biofoundries? Actually, we have so far taken these innovations to certain stage. There are incubation centers across the country. Now we have incubation centers, at least BIRAC supported 120, and I know that NSTDB also has supported so many. ISBA, now we must have around 1,000 incubation centers across the country. We have done only proof of concept, help these startups do proof of concept, and we have not been able to scale up their innovations. At least in the biotech area, they need clean room, they need manufacture GMP facilities, etc. We have not been able to create those. So this Bio-E3 policy talks about giving the funds or supporting mechanisms to create these biofoundries, the scale up of whatever innovations that are lying with these startups. This is a boon that over the past, say 15 years, the incubation movement in this country has created some kind of structure where these biofoundries, etc., can be at least thought about and built. This is a boon. In nations, in prosperous nations, one of the things that we see is universities are very strong. They have a lot of they have a lot of components which work together and create these mechanisms of institutional mechanisms of creating ventures. However, in India, universities have not gone to that level, and therefore the incubation centers have taken those roles to actually see how these startups and the intellectual property lying on shelf can be created through a startup or commercialized through startups and all. So definitely it's a great asset for our country, and that's how we can build one over the other. So superstructures of incubation through Bio-E3 policy is definitely possible. And then we will create a whole value chain for the startups from ideation to the commercialization to the market. And I can tell you that the incubation in community is very well knit. It's like a family members, and they all are very, very passionate about incubating and nurturing these startup companies. And that's what we need. And I think with the passage of time, many other ministries, many other government departments have been mulling to create the incubation centers. Of course, NSTDB was the forerunner, then BIRAC. And I remember that when BIRAC was trying to create incubation centers through BioNest program, we actually had a lot of consultation with ISBA. That time I was again in IKP Knowledge Park, and I had a chance to participate. I remember Dr. Jagdale, Dr. Rao, and Dr. Mittal were there, and they have all mentored this whole community. So it's a great opportunity for us to come together again to go to the next level of growth of our country. So I'll close here, and thank you and best wishes for this conference.
Up next, I would like to invite Shri Praveen Roy, Head TTI DST, to kindly speak a few words on this occasion and grace all of us. Thank you.
Good morning, Dr. Reddy, Dr. Vinay, Dr. Suresh, dignitaries on the dais, Mr. Mittal, Dr. Rao, and Dr. Ramanan, Dr. Jagdale, dignitary of the dais, delegates from foreign countries, and my friend incubation managers in different incubation centers and Center of Excellences. Thank you for inviting DST and me to be part of this important celebration of ISBACON. And we are really glad and happy to be supporting this initiative and DST being part of this important journey of the country. I come from Department of Science and Technology, and we always try to promote, inculcate science, technology, instrument development, and all these things in whatever initiatives, whatever programs we support. And in that reference only, when I was thinking if we could develop some instrument which could measure the professional potential in a room or in a hall, what will be the result? The deflection will be on the highest side. So this is the scenario in this hall. If we could develop some instrument which could just measure the potential of professional approach, education capacity, management capacity, so if that instrument can be developed, naturally the deflection in that instrument also will be on the higher side. Maybe it will be going beyond the scale of the meter. So this is what is contributed by ISBACON. This is what they bring on the platform. The network which is created, the professional approach that they have. I mean, DST has been very fortunate to be associated with ISBACON and ISBA. And we always look forward to them for collaborating, making them part in our journey. Whenever there is any requirement of conceiving something new, we look forward to ISBA and the member incubators in that. I mean, this has become an intellectual and muscle power for us. I just remember when with the present leadership in the government, Startup India initiative was launched in 2016. Mr. Mittal was there to take a lead in conceiving some new programs because our budgets were increased and we had a lot of potential to scale up our activities. And then we went to our incubators, to the ISBA, just to see what are the gaps, where we can pitch in, what programs are to be roped in. And that time also, the constructive support, the professional approach, and the inputs, intellectual inputs that we got, we could conceive this Nidhi program, which was a complete end-to-end program where from POC to scale-up grant, everything was positioned in 8 different programs. And now they are really creating good impact and the results are really very exciting. I just recall how this ISBA was conceived. Mr. Mittal, Mr. Menon, the head of NSTDB was there in DST, and they motivated the incubators which are supported by DST to go for an association because the voice is heard by the government. They can suggest what is to be done, what is the challenges being faced by the incubators, and because of that ISBA was conceived. And naturally now the level at which this the association has grown with 130 members as part of this. This gives a great power to you to raise your voice, to tell what is to be done by the government and what is missing in the support systems. And this also sets an example for the other neighbor countries, how this initiatives can be prospering in the country. DST has been in lead in conceiving these programs. In year 2000, we launched the incubator program. And since then, the network has grown to around 180 plus incubators and around 9 Center of Excellence. DST has been also pioneering conceiving many new programs like Seed Fund, which was not earlier. This was brought in the country by DST itself. We are also supporting some new missions in the country, like the quantum mission, which has been now rolled out. And that shows how progressive approach has come in the government, with very aggressive support and very generous support for supporting startups. The funding can go up to 25 crores for quantum startups. So this is where DST tries to pitch and brings whatever is required by the country and the technology domains. We keep on partnering in different forums, and as of now, one delegation of women entrepreneurs is part of GTEx in Dubai. We are also having one expo in Indian Mobile Congress in Delhi, and I was hearing there earlier when 4G was rolled out, the country was just trying to follow the standards and implementation of 4G. When 5G was launched out, we are marching along with the global standards and global execution map. And in 6G, we are already ahead. Like I was part of task force in 6G, where we are now trying to see what kind of standards, what kind of IPs can be there, so that we do not lag behind and we come in equal platform with the global standards. So the things are very in a right direction and a right movement for all the startup incubation, incubator community to prosper. We are also going to launch one program for Startup Masterclass in collaboration with IIT Kanpur and Alumni Association, and this will be in November. And there we are trying to go for 4 domains of our missions, like the National Quantum Mission, National Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical System Mission, and then Geospatial and Waste to Wealth Initiative. So these programs help us in popularizing our schemes, the offers which are there for the startups and the innovators to go and get connected with the department. And ISBA has been playing an important role in making the policies for the state government, associating with the state governments and the department in the central government. And I hope like this kind of conferences and networking platform will give a lot of opportunity for all the incubators and the startups to prosper. All the best and take care. Thank you.
Up next, I would like to invite Dr. Ulhas Kolthur, Director, CDFT, to kindly speak a few words on this occasion and grace the audience. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone, all the dignitaries on the dais, and I think people who have done this for many, many years. It's a privilege for me to represent CDFT here and also the incubator that we have started. In fact, probably we are one of the most recent incubators in the Hyderabad cluster. And it's been a very interesting learning experience. And we also thank stalwarts in this room, including Dr. Jitendra, the AIC team itself, and several others for helping us to start this off. I don't know, many of you know what CDFT is. It's a Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics. It's one of the premier research institutions under the BIRAC Council in the DBT under the Ministry of Science and Technology. In addition to doing cutting-edge research, we also are one of the nodal organizations in the country to provide services on DNA fingerprinting and diagnostics, which puts us in a very unique place of combining technology, incubation, startups, and research to groom startups which have direct societal impact, be it therapeutics or diagnostics or even method development. We have a very vibrant team, and we have been interacting with more than 75 startups and innovators in the larger ecosystem. But having been one of the newest entrants to this particular thing, CDFT realized that although there are several incubators and startups, as Suresh and everyone else has spoken, it's not a race about who is better than the other, but it's actually collectively something that we have to do together. And in this context, CDFT, I'm proud to present that CDFT has taken a leading role here by bringing together all the academic institutions in Hyderabad cluster and also the industries. Because I think many of you will be familiar, again, more than I could voice here, is that after startup what? I mean, there is a valley of death, and are we doing enough to support ecosystems to make sure that they go through the next graduation steps? In this context, Hyderabad is very unique, of course, because we have wonderful research institutions. I think IICT, CDFD, CCMB on the eastern part, and on the western part we have University of Hyderabad, TIFR, and NIIB, and several others, including several private institutions like IIT, IIIT, and BITS, Mahindra also. So given this, it's a unique opportunity for Hyderabad to position itself as, set a new role model for how to bring together forces. It's not about also winning. It's also about making sure that each of us don't do the same mistakes that the others did. So there's a huge learning experience for us, and new entrants should be actually handheld. And that's the whole spirit of what we are trying to do. So soon, we were hoping that we will come up with an initiative which brings together academia and industry and probably sets up a large bioinnovation district in Hyderabad. And I would look forward to ISBA for all the support and help in getting this off. And as I think probably Dr. Jitendra said, innovation in biology actually requires innovation in chemistry, physics, and even engineering, because a lot of what biology has to do cannot happen without inputs from other streams of sciences. I'll give a simple example of medical biotechnology or imaging, right? You need a lot of input from engineering as well to make sure that whatever biology has to drive is supported. Even in a startup, there are many opportunities for developing point-of-care devices, point-of-care methods that again biologists alone can't do. So therefore, I think as biotech innovations, I think we look forward to interactions with ISBA and platforms like ISBACON to actually draw expertise from seemingly non-connectable entities, but actually make everybody a stakeholder and driving this forward. Biology itself is booming, and this is the era of biology. So I request some of you who are not directly associated with biology or biology startups to actually start engaging with biologists and startups who are in the core biology domain. With that, I'll stop here, and again, I'll thank the organizers for giving us the opportunity. And I'll emphasize that all the academic institutions in Hyderabad are very keen to make sure that Hyderabad becomes one of the role models in nurturing startups, to make sure that new innovations come up, because there's a lot of gap between academia and industry, and ISBA would have a major role to play. And thank you everyone, and I hope you will enjoy the next 2 days. Yeah.
Thank you so much. तालियां में कुछ कमी नजर आ रही है। मंच पर बैठे अतिथियों का प्रोत्साहन बना रहता है और आपका भी मन लगा रहता है। धन्यवाद। I now request Reddy Kumar to please come forward, and we request you to share few words. We would love to hear you, sir. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. You people just saw we signed an MOU. I represent FTCCI, Federation of Telangana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as Senior Vice President. I have been with FTCCI for the past 15 years as MC member and things like that. So in short, for you people to understand what FTCCI is, like you have FICCI and CII, they are national bodies, and FTCCI is an exclusive state body where we have about 3,200 industry and trade members, and we play a very key role along with the government at the state level in formulating the policies. And apart from that, we do have, it's a 107-year-old industry body of Telangana, which was combined, previously it was called FAPSI, today it is called FTCCI. And apart from this, we have about 21 expert committees. And in these expert committees play a major role along with the government in helping the government formulating so many policies and then helping the industry, trade and commerce and things like that. You would have seen our Sridhar Babu minister talking about ease of doing business and things like that in US and all these places. FTCCI played a major role in formulating that policy, and we are also playing a role on GST now. Apart from that, since we are 107-year-old, we had keen interest in helping startups, so that if we are talking of Viksit Bharat 2047, I think this is the time where we look at startups now, which become SME or MSME very soon. Otherwise, the dream of the country of Viksit Bharat is not possible. In that context, we were keen to be part of this organization and join hands with ISBA, so that somebody was just sharing, one of the speakers was sharing, he was talking about collectively all of us should work. So FTCCI feels that we should also work collectively so that we help the startups to grow. So in that context, we have come here and we request all the dignitaries, FTCCI is open, my people are here. Please do visit us. We are at Red Hills so that we can help each other in helping the country to grow. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to invite a special guest. I would like to invite Dr. D. Srinivasa Reddy, Director, IICT, to kindly speak a few words on this occasion and grace the audience.
So good morning. So everyone, dignitaries on the stage, off the stage, and all the participants. So first of all, thank you, ISBA, for making me part of this program to share a few words. Of course, it is our delight for our CSIR labs, CCMB or AICT, to host this annual conference in our campus. And I'm also happy to know about ISBA's journey. Of course, they started with a few individuals in 2004. Now came to know that more than 150 member organizations in this ISBA. Of course, science and technology, so there are innovations are vital for our country's growth. Again, as a previous speaker said, this is very, very important for our country's growth as well. So I was told that India is the third largest startup ecosystem, so after US and China. Of course, our country is a home to some of the most innovative companies. So there are several sectors, including education, agri-tech, and health tech, and everywhere. So we always, at least just to connect with the common people, I think if you look at this Swiggy, Flipkart, or Ola, Meesho, I think just imagine today, without these startups, can you imagine our life today, particularly younger generation? We can't even imagine without that. Every time we are on the mobile with this, playing with these apps and these startups. So I think that's a huge impact we are making as a startups, of course, particularly incubations, because of the startups are coming forward. Of course, as our government sector also, Indian government also played a significant role, like Startup India, Digital India, Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Some of these, again, there may be little, some of the overlap is there, but because of those initiatives, we are really making impact in our country and also to the world. And of course, when I was in, actually before that, I was working in NCL Pune. So we have venture center. So that's where I got connected to. That's one of the successful one in science and technology and one of the early ones. So I know more about this incubation system and in our country through this venture center. Of course, coming back to Hyderabad, as Ullah said, it's a very, very interesting place. It's a very happening place, a beautiful ecosystem we have in our country, and with the reputed academic institutions, pharmaceutical industries, biotech companies. For your information, you are sitting in this campus today. So if you go to the road, so we have several institutions, science institutions in this corridor. So starting from ICMR's NIN, this CSIR's now IICT, CCMB, NGRI, we have DST's Survey of India, and further down CDFD, that's where Ullas is coming from. So now we are also adding Science Experience Center to our corridor. Soon it's going to become Science City as well. So I'm sure it's going to be a great attraction for us. So when you complete the Science City in the future. And it's a beautiful ecosystem we have here. I think thank you, ISBA, for choosing this Hyderabad for making this conference taking place. And little bit about IICT. So where we are sitting here. So we are one of the largest organization in our country. Like as part of CSIR, we have 37 labs across India. So in Hyderabad, we have 3 labs as IICT, CCMB, and NGRI. And we work, of course, mostly on chemicals. So we also work on this energy, environment, and healthcare sector. There are broad areas we work. So in fact, good number of startups originated from our technologies based in our institute. And I'm not sure how much time you have to visit our place. I request you all to visit our institute and also connect with our scientists. And Dr. Shailesh also here. She is heading our BDRM department. So please connect with us. And whenever you get a chance to visit Hyderabad, please do visit us. So in addition to that, who are coming from outside, Hyderabad is also well known for biryani and pearls. I'm sure our Ramji is taking care of first part, but second part you please take care. So I do have 1 minute video just to show the glimpse of our institute.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the time to invite our special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite our special guest, Dr. Vinay Nandiguri, Director of CCMB, with a huge round of applause.
CCMB is an institute that kind of came out of ISCT, and that was almost 47 years ago, and 37 years ago we had developed a campus next to this particular campus, which is in ISCT. And one of those institutes which were basically focused on strong basic research. But it is one of those things which also had good connections with industry. And in fact, one of the initial things such as DNA fingerprinting has come out of Lalji Singh's work and has become an institute. And we have the director of CDFD, Ulas, here with us. But with strong basic research, strong chemistry research that we have in ISCT, and it's a fantastic corridor here. You have NIN, National Institute of Nutrition, followed by ISCT here, CCMB, NGRI, 3 CSR institutes in a row. And then you have CDFD, Survey of India, Osmania University. This is literally one of the pretty much crowded academic corridors of Hyderabad. And now they have incubation centers. And we have Atal Incubation Center, which started around 7 years ago and doing very well. And Dr. Madhu talked about it. He's the CEO of that. And, CDFD has an incubation center. And, we are talking about coming up with a space where we can have a close interaction between academics and the industry, and kind of encourage entrepreneurship and incubations of major ideas as part of the Bio-3 policy. And Dr. Ulas is taking the lead to have conversations with Government of Telangana on this. And once we have some of those things, all the institutes in this corridor want to work together with the Government of Telangana to establish this, nurture this, and be a part of this. So, if you were to go back, I came back to India in 2004, the year ISBA was kind of, started. The ecosystem has changed drastically. Actually, 2004, when I came, there were some institutes, ICERs were non-existent. Quite a lot of IITs did not have biology in departments. And over a period of time, I think around 2007 and 8, first time I started listening to, because I was at National Institute of Immunology, about Dr. Bond's ideas regarding coming up with this BIRAC. And that is the first time we kind of look, what is this incubation thing and all. We were all scientists doing our own thing in labs. And the vision ultimately has led to major expansion of incubation ecosystem, startup ecosystem in biology specifically. And BIRAC has come out. It has supported many incubation centers. Eventually, now if you look around, and then you have Atal Incubation Centers supported by Niti Aayog, all these things together, we have an ecosystem which is so different in 20 years. Now, if I really want to do something, and I want to come up with, try my idea. As a student, I realized that I really don't want to do classical path of postdoc and want to test out something different, be an entrepreneur. There is a scope, there is a place, there is an opportunity, and also there is a way, very clearly defined way. It doesn't look that bad. You know what to do. You know where to get funding from. And you have people like Jitendra ji and Praveen ji and many others who are kind of guiding lights, and ISBA, all of you are guiding lights for those young people who are looking to figure out how to swim through this entrepreneurial startup system. And that's where, 150 incubators, that's a big number here. Great number, actually. And we are talking about 3,000 startups. Fantastic ecosystem. But considering our population, most probably we are only starting out. Considering the kind of country, how big the country we are, I believe we are maybe at 100th the scale what we should be. I believe it is going to change, and it's going to change in an exponential way. We are starting, and I believe this is going to take off in next 5 to 10 years to a point people may even start from the colleges, the way drop out of colleges, the way it happens, like in case of US and then start out something, test out their ideas and come up with something novel, completely our own and completely, profitable scenarios and ways to go. And that is going to happen whether we want to be part of it or not. So might as well and make sure that we propel that. We as academic leaders and you people as the whole, ISBA and everybody else, including the government, we should propel this aspect of where India is going to be and where India should be. And specifically, if we want to realize our vision of being a Viksit Bharat in 2047, this is an important aspect that we actually encourage entrepreneurship. In that context, today we are glad to be a part of organizing along with AAC, CCMB. CCMB is kind of hand-holding or a little bit of helping here and there in organizing this event. And we are glad that it is happening here in an academic setting with ISCT, CCMB, CDFD and other institutes. We're glad in this kind of marriage is happening here. And welcome to all of you for the conference. And I really would like you to explore how all they listen to the talks, talk to each other and see how it goes forward. Thank you very much once again for inviting me in.
I would now like to request Ramji Pereira, CEO AICCCMB, to please come on the stage for vote of thanks.
Thanks, Sagar and Gladys. Wonderful MC. And thank you all the dignitaries who came here. It's my immense pleasure to give vote of thanks to all the delegates and the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. And special thanks to today's special guests, Dr. Vinay Nandikuri and Dr. Srinivas Reddy. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. Vinay for supporting this complete ISBACON to be happened in, with the support of CCMB. And AICCCMB requested him that we want to do it here, and he said, yes, go ahead. And Dr. Madhu and myself are very fortunate to have a leadership like this. Thank you, sir, for being here. And of course, always sister organizations like IICT, Dr. Srinivas Reddy, always being part of such activities which promote academic innovation and also translation of such kind of know-how. So, very much thankful to you to grace this occasion, sir, and also addressing the audience about the importance of collaboration between academia and industries. And I also thank, I may say this first order batsmen, always opening batsmen, the DSTs and DBTs, where NSTEDB representation, Dr. Praveen Roy, I think, the blessings of NSTEDB for several such years made all of us to be here, and a big round of applause to Dr. Praveen Roy who came here. And Dr. Jitendra Kumar, I always call him my big brother because we are proud alumni of IKP Knowledge Park, and thanks for being here and your valuable insights on how we can actually accelerate such kind of ecosystems, institutional ecosystems as well as complete national ecosystem altogether. So thank you very much, sir, for being here. And our another guest of honor, Dr. Ullas Kaltur, sir, from CDFD Director. I think I appreciate the speed that you have for the CDFD incubation ecosystem that you made in a shorter time, and also addressing the gathering of how we can collaborate together to have such kind of domain-specific incubation ecosystems in the country. Thank you very much for your valuable thoughts and insights, sir. Of course, we missed Sujit, but thanks to Santoshi for being here, and excellent talk that you touched upon about the technology and also the other interventions of AI, and of course maybe something more than AI as well that may be coming in the future that you addressed to the gathering, and how T-Hub supported you all. Witnessed yesterday. Big round of applause to T-Hub team, entire team, Vijay Bhavra, Sujit and Santosh and everyone. So thank you for gracing for this occasion. And yes, ISBA President, Dr. Suresh, who made this complete engagement with all of you. Past 3-4 months are like a marathon, and we kind of keep all of you in a better place. Hyderabad, positioning in your different hotels, and also making these agendas and everything. But yes, he briefed all of you about the ISBA's journey and also the current ISBA's mandate of how we can actually go forward with these next 2 to 3 days. So thank you so much, Dr. Suresh, for briefing all those things. We have special, eminent delegates, Dr. H.K. Mittal and Dr. Ramanan sir, and of course A.S. Rao sir and Yogesh Rao sir, Mutyunjay, other speakers I would like to mention here. Thank you all of you. Of course Rajendra Jagdale sir, who brought ISBA delegation. That is the greatest, honor to our country, sir, because Indonesia, Malaysia, this conference is happening, but you brought ISBA, Asian Association of Business Incubation, in the lines of ISBA. I think ISBACON, that's brilliant, and thank you very much for being here, sir. Yes, last but not the least, I have to mention about some of the sponsors as well as supporting agencies, be it, of course, I mentioned about DST, NSTDB, BIRAC, and also AWS and other Intutech, right? Intutech. Sorry, I may not be telling many other names because I am not reading from the scripted vote of thanks. So AWS, ICICI Bank, Oban and Associates, and of course industrial partners like FICCI, FTCCI and ICII and whatnot. All these, of course, another way that, we have greatest support from IICT, great support, Srinivas sir. So please don't mind if I miss the names, but thank you all for being here in this auditorium to look forward for the great agenda that we have in front of us. Thank you one and all for this wonderful gathering. Thank you very much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.